light cuts. If you're a new turner and you're thinking about turning pins or other small kits that require a pin mandrel saver, you're going to be interested in watching this video as I review the new Small Projects Mandrel Saver set from Record Power. I use a variety of other Record Power drive centers and live centers on a daily basis and found them to be high quality and very reliable. And this set is no different. Record Power provided me this Small Project Mandrel Saver kit to review. Let me show you what it includes. It comes in a very nice package. It comes with an Allen wrench because one of the features of this is you can shorten the shaft, and I'll go into a little more details later. It comes with 5 pin bushings that will fit your most common pin size, this slim line. And it's got a new feature to me is these ring bushings, and I'm going to wind up turning a ring. I've turned a ring without it. Now I'm going to try one with using these. It comes with, I think, one of the most distinctive features, besides being able to shorten this to increase the strength and rigidity of it, is this mandrel saver that holds the thing very securely and by pressing in. And I'll contrast this with a cheaper version by another manufacturer in just a moment. So I'm making the assumption that you know a little about pin turning or pin mandrel, so I'm going to give you the Cliff version notes, and I'm not going to go through turning a whole pin, but I do want to explain how this thing works and the advantages of it. So it's got a Morse taper, number 2, that fits in your lathe like that, and that holds it very, very firmly. It comes with these ring bushings that I mentioned. I'm going to set those aside. And then it's got these smaller bushings. Now, these bushings, you use a different set of bushings depending on what kind of pin you're turning. If you're turning the popular, what they call slim fast, I keep saying slim fast, slim line pins like this, the bushings that come with it will do just fine. But if you get to a different kit, for example, the kit I'm going to be turning today, although I'm not going to go into the whole thing in this video, I'm going to be turning this pencil kit. I had to have a different drill bit size. Instead of the 7mm, I had to go up to a little larger size, and I had to try to finagle to figure out how to hold it on here without buying more bushing. I inserted the brass, glued in the brass tube, and I'm doing this pencil. I found out that it will fit over these bushings fairly well, so I'm going to use this ring bushing right here to hold this thing in place, and then I think this is going to work just fine. Then you use the mandrel saver that slides over, and I'm going to show you in a moment why this is such an advantage over some of the cheaper ones. But first we're going to go ahead and put it here in our, and then we just slide it over, and it slides all the way down in there, and as a result you've got a very short item here, so you don't have as much potential for vibration or wobble. And this keeps it running center with this mandrel saver. So you lock this down, put it on here, and now we're ready to turn this. Now this same kit can be used, or the same pin mandrel saver could be used for other pins. For example, this I think is called a Sierra one-piece pin. Instead of using a 7mm drill bit that I would use for the slim line, you go up to, I think, 27/64 to drill it, and it requires a different set of bushings. So there's lots and lots of pin kits out there, so just be aware that you may have to either make or buy the pin bushings if you get something other than a slim line. I'm not a pin expert. I've turned a number of pins, but frankly it's been a couple years ago, except for the one I did this past week. Normally in the past I would turn it round using a spindle roughing gouge, but this is acrylic, and acrylic, as I understand it, I don't do a lot of acrylic tends to do well with a carbide scraper, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use this Record Power Small Projects tool set carbide round scraper. Don't get that speed up. Let me change the belt speed. So besides pin kits, you can use a pin mandrel for any number of project type of kits, such as a letter opener or a Christmas tree ornament, such as this kit from Turner's Warehouse, where you drill the blank, rough shape it, then put on a mandrel for final shaping using those bushings. Here I'm using a Record Power Carbide scraper for this cherry ornament. I was intrigued by the
ring bushings that come with this kit. So I got a ring core from Turner's Warehouse and laminated some wood and used a ring core to turn a ring on the bushing. You don't have to have a ring core. Here's several of them I did without a ring core, and it was a fun project. So after I got a pin blank, drilled a hole in it, I'm mounting it on the mandrel saver using those ring core bushings, and then I turn it to final shape. You don't have to have a ring core, but it does make it a little easier and stronger.
Let me do a quick comparison between a mandrel that has an adjustable shaft and one that's fixed. This one's fixed, and it's designed to. It's got a little hole here. It's designed to be stabilized by your live center. Unfortunately, some people have a tendency to crank down these a little too tight. They cause this to bow a little bit, and it results in your work being unbalanced, bowed on one side, or oval if it's a pin. Not a good thing. This is the one from Record Power. It's got multiple bushings. It's also got a series of 3 sets of ring bushings. But it uses a Allen wrench so you can move the shaft inside here and reduce it for stability. In addition, instead of putting pressure on the end, it gets stabilized by fitting inside this mandrel saver that's got 2 bearings in it. Here's an inexpensive mandrel saver made in China. And let me show you the difference between one that's low cost, 1 bearing, and one that's a little better made. See if you can hear the difference. Can you hear that bearing rattle? It's only got 1 bearing in it, and it rattles. Let's do the sound test with the 2 bearing Record Power mandrel saver. Other than the sound of my finger spinning, it doesn't make any noise whatsoever.
So that's the new Record Power Small Projects Mandrel Saver kit. It's a versatile accessory for pins and other small projects that I've shown in this video, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. It's sold as a standalone package, or you can get it with a combined with this 3-piece Small Projects Pro Comfort Small Projects turning tool set that's got a round carbide and a 1/2-inch skew and an 1/8 inch parting tool. I've used this set, but I'm not going to do a video review on it. Tool selection is a personal preference, and I want to share my thoughts on it. That for a brand new turner does not have a sharpening system, carbide tools can be an attractive alternative to conventional tools. Pros include a low barrier to entry because you don't have to buy that expensive sharpening system. They are easier to learn how to use, and you don't have to learn how to sharpen them. I know some of you turners that do use carbide do sharpen flat on a diamond hone. Cons, in my humble opinion, is that carbide tools are not quite as versatile as conventional high-speed steel tools, and they'll sometimes leave a surface, especially on spindles, that will need more sanding. Record Power does offer a 3-piece starter set of carbide tools as shown here, which might be a better fit than their hybrid small project set if you do not have a sharpening system and you want to avoid the cost of one, at least until you know if wood turning is for you. I generally prefer a high-speed steel conventional set of tools to carbide, but again, it's a personal preference. The pros for me is that they are more versatile. They're able to handle a wider variety of projects, and typically slicing cuts that you get with a gouge or a skew will leave a better surface requiring less sanding. For me, they're just more satisfying to use. Conventional tools do require more learning and practice to gain proficiency, but if you love wood turning, that's not really a con. They do require a sharpening system, and the cost of a new sharpening system, typically an 8-inch slow-speed grinder and a sharpening jig, such as the one-way Wolverine, is not a trivial cost. Cost of a 1/2-inch, 8-inch slow-speed grinder with aluminum oxide wheels and a sharpening system can easily run $325 or more. If you add one CBN wheel, you can raise it up to say $500. 2 CBN wheels even more. And sharpening is another skill to learn to be successful at wood turning. So buying the hybrid set that includes carbide and conventional tools, to me, it's, in my humble opinion, is just not quite as attractive for most new wood turners who don't have a sharpening system, because this set is going to still require a sharpening system to sharpen the parting tool and your skew. It's just not practical because the high-speed steel is much harder than regular carbon tool steel you may be familiar with, like a bench chisel or a bench plane. You can't sharpen these easily on a stone. It's just not practical. So if you're a new turner just beginning to buy your tools, you might be better off with a less expensive set like this 3-piece spindle set for turning those small objects, even if they don't have the new and improved Pro Comfort handles. Or if you're planning on buying a sharpening system, or you have one, perhaps spending a little more money and getting a more complete set with the additional tools you'll eventually get as you progress past doing small projects on a pen mandrel like bowls. You're going to need some additional tools that this set will include, such as the bowl gouge and a scraper and a conventional skew. I know carbide versus conventional tools is a controversial topic. Feel free to share your views below. And remember, y'all stay safe. Come on back, you hear?